What is up, my lovely people in Blue Tablet land? So for today's video, guys, I'm going to be drawing y'all a pumpkin, which is kind of like the star of Halloween. So if that's something you guys are interested in, stick around and let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw its eye. And I started out with this almost like an egg-looking shape. And no particular reason. I mean, I just thought do that instead of the usual oval eyes or round eyes, or I think some of them have like these different, almost like star shapes and triangles. I think triangles is more like the usual one, but I kind of wanted to do something different, so I stuck with the oval. I think when you think about Halloween and all the stuff that goes into it, I think the pumpkin is definitely the thing that really stands out. I mean, yeah, you'll have the skeletons and you'll have like the witch's brew and a broomstick and all the bats and so many other things. But I think the cool part about the jack-o'-lantern is the ability of turning this, I think it's a fruit or maybe a vegetable, into a cool looking lantern, and then you can have like a little candle put into it. And I think it's really cool project for children, I guess, or even toddlers. Well, not toddlers, but children, I guess, to practice. So for me, the first time I actually got to carve out my very own jack-o'-lantern was when my kids had this, I don't know what it was actually called, but they were having this kind of like a fundraiser for Halloween. And what they did was they got these little care packages with these small little baby pumpkins. And it came along with the carver and whatever the other tools are. And it was kind of cool to do this project at home because it kind of gave you like the whole instructions and what has to be done if this is like your first time you're ever carving a pumpkin. And man, when you first carve into a pumpkin, it's kind of interesting because it has all this gooey, orangey looking stuff that's in it, which is kind of, not a very fun thing to look at. But I think what is the cool part is once you actually get all that done and actually clear it out, the fun actually begins then with the whole carving process. And I remember about this time when we were doing it for the very first time, I can't remember what was the channel. I think maybe it must have been TLC. And they had this thing called Pumpkin Wars or Halloween Pumpkin Wars, where they had these different artists come from all across the country and, kind of show off their skills on how they are able to carve different images. And some of the things were just mind blowing in the aspect of, the stuff these artists were able to carve out in pumpkins, I think one of them was Freddy Krueger. And then another one did Chucky, which is obviously a big Halloween themed character. So I think it was really fun to do this while watching that show. So as I was drawing out the pumpkin, I kind of wanted to keep the illustration fairly simple. And I kind of just gave it these scratch marks or lines as detail, just to kind of show that the person that was possibly carving out this pumpkin was at their first try, so they were kind of just going at it and getting all these little scratch marks and all across the pumpkin, so it kind of ties into the whole story of kind of doing the pumpkin carving for the very first time. Choosing the colors for this pumpkin was my next thought process as to what I was going to color in. And I kind of wanted to give it this nice glowy look because as I was done drawing the line art, I kind of almost realized, I was like, wait a minute, I forgot to do the candles in the eye area. and I was like, you know what? How can I make this or turn this pumpkin that's got these dark eyes into something that's more glowy and something that's more shiny, so that way it doesn't look like a very dull illustration. So I think that's part of the process and when you're doing something, you're always trying to think of what the next step is going to be. And in this case, as I said, I forgot the candles. So I was like, let me choose something color-wise, which will take away from that and actually show that this pumpkin is a nice, bright, shiny guy. So I went ahead and chose all these colors that you see over here. That is based on the last one I'd done back in 2023. And stuck with orange for the pumpkin. And then kind of like a beigeish color for the stem of it. And what I did was I created a clipping mask to do the shading, which is pretty much what I'll be doing now. And I figured, because the flat colors is just two colors, so it's like I had to give this that glowy look what I was talking about. So what I did was I selected this almost like a lime yellow. So it almost gives that illusion that that would have been the color of the flame had I drawn the candles. And kind of wanted to see how far I could push the coloring of this without making it too intermediate and something that would be too complicated. But this is what I chose. And when you guys are choosing your color, it doesn't have to be exactly this way. You could just do it in orange and the stem leave it at beige, and that could be it. But if you want to go the extra distance and make that pumpkin really pop, then yeah, this would be the way. I don't know if you could actually duplicate this if you were doing it traditionally. It would be interesting to do it in, you could possibly do it in markers. And I'm trying to think, for the longest time I've always worked with Prismacolor markers. And then not too long ago, I found Copic markers, which is something I've always wanted to try coloring with. And I've looked at some other videos of artists that have drawn illustrations in Copic markers, and they have this very cool, vibrant look and color to them, So it almost has like that electrified look to the illustration. So as I was shading this and going about the illustration, I was just, drawing the lines where I thought, where the glow would have been if this had a candle, as I said. And, make it look like it was, what do you call it? I was going for this spooky looking glow look, that most, what do you call it, Halloween looking theme characters have, where they have either they have this mist around them or they have this glow maybe coming from their eyes. So I think this yellow kind of does a good job of portraying that, I guess. As I kept working my way around the illustration and finishing up the shading, I kind of remembered the fun times when I used to help my aunt to help her with these food decorating ideas that she used to do for birthdays and communions and all that. So I remember this one time when she told me, she's like, for today's decoration, what we're going to do is we're going to be turning this cauliflower that we had into little sheep. In my mind, I was like, how is she going to do this, And it was kind of interesting because what she had me do was she obviously washed the cauliflower and rinsed it out and patted it dry with the paper towels. And I kind of broke it up into these small little pieces or little chunks. And then what she did was she used these little, what do you call it, cloves for the eyes. And then she used, I'm trying to think what she did for the legs. I think it was probably the stem of the cauliflower, but I think it was a fun little project. That I thought I would share with you guys, since I'm talking about like, jack-o'-lanterns and, carving things and all that. I think food art or, doing any sort of decorative work with art like craft or, turning something into something it's not, like when it's, especially when it's edible. I think it's a fun project. I mean, like, it's a cool way to get children involved for the holidays and like, keep them out of trouble. So, like for me also, like, when I'm cooking breakfast or making something, I always make it a point to have my 9-year-old help me out so that he has a good understanding of how things come to the table and, stuff like that. But yeah, the shading was coming around pretty cool and decided I'll choose this little bit of a darker yellow to complement this light yellow that I chose. And the more I shaded it, I mean, the more I thought of like, it kind of almost looked like, when you go to the grocery store and you're in the produce section, you have all these, what is it? I don't know if they're called halogen bulbs or they're kind of some sort of food grade lighting, but it makes the produce look more brighter and more colorful. So I think that's it almost looked like that as I was going through it, like like as if the light was shining down on the pumpkin, and it had this nice glowy, fiery look to it. I mean, so I think all in all, not trying the candles and forgetting them actually turned out good or cool. So like if you ever decide to draw a jack-o'-lantern and if you ever forget to draw the candles in the eyes, I mean, like, this could be one way to show the luminance, the luminosity and light in the illustration. When it comes to time and like, planning out these illustrations, I actually looked into, what is it, different artists that have done these Halloween themed kind of drawings. And I kind of wanted to keep it really simple. And even though this drawing or the ones that I've done prior to this are like fairly simple in nature, it's amazing once you sit down to actually do it, even though it might be just as simple as it can be. Once you get down to the shading and the actual coloring, it's amazing how quickly the time really adds up. And like, I kind of wanted to do something where it was, these quick, simple drawings. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll be able to do like 2 a day. But once you actually record it and then you edit any of the noise in the background or all that stuff and actually get it ready for YouTube, it's amazing how much time it actually takes to make each of these videos, even if it might be something as simple as this, Because when I think about my other channel, I mean, like, which I had spoken about, that I draw exclusively skeleton art, those videos, I mean, also take a whole lot of time. But it's just amazing how fast time flies by when you're drawing. I mean, like for me, usually when I'm drawing, I like to listen to my music because it's always, those beats kind of constantly going around in your head. And I think maybe I've not said it on this channel, but I notice whenever I'm listening to my music and drawing, my art seems to be more, what do you call it, more lifelike and more energetic. I don't know if that makes any sense. As opposed to when I'm just drawing without any music. I don't know, something about the music kind of enhances the art. And, I think it makes it more enjoyable. And like, when you're in a totally relaxed state of mind, you're enjoying the music, you're drawing. So yeah, thought I'd throw that out there. So for this part over here, for the eyes, what I did was I just selected a really light shade of yellow, almost like a creamish white, to give the pumpkin that gloss kind of a look. And I think so far it looks good because it doesn't camouflage too much with the white background. That's another one thing, when you're drawing these, I mean, and I think about the background, I was like, what would be a good background to go with this pumpkin? So I figured, like, I chose those little purplish kind of swatches that you see in the right-hand corner just a few seconds ago. And I was like, let me, instead of just making the background be like a plain purple background, kind of wanted to play around with it and give it more like a Halloween kind of a theme. So this is what we have for the final piece. And now onto the background. So I dropped the first purple and then used the selection tool and then used another shade of purple. And then I just kind of went with different darker shades of the purple, which is kind of a cool way to color and draw. So maybe I might do one of the illustrations like that without any line art to see how it actually comes out, and almost has like that Pixar art kind of look where you have when you look at the characters, I mean, like there's no line work. It's just pretty much you're just looking at the colors and the shading that kind of define the object or the character and gives it its 3D look. So what I did was I kind of made it look like it has like a sky behind it, kind of like a, what do you call it, like a fall evening, and kind of started drawing these tree kind of shrub looking things without any leaves, obviously, to, give it that nice Halloween theme. I don't know what I was trying to do. It sounded more like an owl. But yes, I think this definitely makes the background look nice as opposed to just putting it as a flat color. I mean, you could, if you wanted, I mean, you could just keep it simple and just keep it as a flat color. But the reason I chose purple is because the purple has a good contrast against the orange. So I think it kind of worked out. And the background is not too overpowering because it's in the back or in the background. And I kind of wanted to, make it look like you ever look at sometimes you look at these Windows screensavers and they have obviously the object in the front looks really prominent, but as you look into the distance, it kind of blends in. So that's kind of what I was trying to get, that blended kind of like background look. So the object of focus will be the pumpkin. And I don't know what I was trying to do. This tree looks more like it actually kind of reminds me of It, or the spider hand that he creates, or when it's coming out of the drain. I don't know. I think I probably had some It thoughts in my mind when I was doing this alien looking tree. As I said, right, guys, this whole 31 days of drawing these Halloween themed creatures is really fun. And it's kind of cool to see what all you can create. I mean, like, the first one I think was definitely fun to start with the spider, and then, the ghost, and now the pumpkin. And I'm going to have to refer to my list to see what the next one is. But all in all, I mean, yeah, this has definitely been a fun little drawing assignment that I've put for myself, or not put for myself, but kind of thought about doing. So hopefully I'll be able to get through the 31 days and be able to put out these videos for you guys, so that way it's something that you all can draw along. And definitely, when you draw your version of it, I mean, definitely tag me on Instagram. Which reminds me, I kind of got to update my Instagram and post all the other things that I have drawn on the channel. And yeah. So here I chose it's called a luminous or a light pen from the classic brush library, and I think it's under the luminescent or luminous, I can't get the name, but it's under that tab. And what's cool about this is it kind of gives this nice glow, kind of a light look. And I think this was just something I just thought of doing at the time. And I think it kind of gives that nice bright glow look, obviously, to the pumpkin. So it almost looks like maybe like there's a candle behind it. Alrighty, people, so I guess we're almost to the end, and I hope you enjoyed drawing along and creating this fun little pumpkin character, and I will see y'all in the next video, guys. Take care and have a good one. Bye for now.